This is Llew Jones. I want to tell you a story about a badger. Stick with me here and I'll link it to Montana politics. So in 8th grade, we were short crewed. So my dad took me out of school and made me into the man that ran the gut wagon, which was this old pickup right here. The job was simple. I went out with the sheep that were lambing during the daytime, loaded up 5 to 7 mother ewes and their lambs, and rushed them back to the shed, to the lambing pens to mother up. And so I was extremely busy to begin with. We were lambing about 1,000 head. But as time wore on and lambing slowed down, I got bored. So I started snaring gophers to begin with. A little loop of twine, snare a gopher. I had fun doing that. Then that got boring. So I watched this young badger run down a hole. So I took the lariat that I had with me for catching the sheep, looped it around the hole, waited patiently, and when the young badger came up, I snared him. And it was great fun. And the badger ran to the left, and he ran to the right. He kept trying to get away. Then all of a sudden, the badger turned around, looked right at me, and thought, "You're the one causing this." And the badger charged. And I didn't find that nearly as much fun. Before he got to me, I swung him around with a rope and threw him out, and he charged again. So finally, lucky this old beast is made of metal, I scrambled up onto the top of this beast, and I'm holding onto this badger by the rope and trying to figure out what to do, because I knew I couldn't let go of the rope. Dad would have made me lose my hide over that. It would have been worse than being bit by the badger. So finally, I came up with a plan. I took my sheep hook, for catching the sheep, and I hooked it around the rope around the badger's neck, and I shook the badger free, and off he ran, and I learned a lesson. You have to think through what you're doing. You have to think through the unintended consequences. So that is a lesson I've taken with me to the legislature. So recently, I was scored down because of a vote I took on some Berkshire scorecard about freedom. And the vote was that I did not vote for sheriffs first. Now, to be clear, I like Montana sheriffs. I like most sheriffs. I like law enforcement. But this was not the reason I voted no. Of course, there was questionable constitutionality, but beyond that, I voted no because I thought it through. I don't mind the sheriffs having to give permission for federal law enforcement to come in if I like the sheriff. But what about if we don't like the sheriff, or the sheriff has a different viewpoint? Imagine, for example, if this was the case, this bill had passed and was in effect today. In towns like Missoula or other places, I expect we'd have some sanctuary cities where ICE could not go, where the FBI could not go. I'm not sure that's a consequence that Montana would favor. It certainly would impact all of us. So when I thought that bill through, it did not make sense because that badger could bite. So with that, I try to think the bill through. And I always try to put my constituents first, ahead of the desires of the party bosses or the dark money groups, because that's who I represent. So with that, I hope you don't snare a badger. Have a great day. This is Llew Jones reporting to you.